All right. We are back once again. I hope everybody has been having a good one. This is my first official live stream of 2026, given the date of this particular live stream. I hope all has been well with everyone. And I'm back. It's been a bit. I've been doing a lot behind the scenes, been seeing a lot behind the scenes as well. Out there, out yonder, there's just a lot to ponder and wonder about. But we're here in light of even this past holiday, because I usually drop live streams like this on this particular time of the year around Valentine's, even though I'm not a Valentine's person. I'm not even a holiday person. But just for pretty much wanted to give somebody something to think about, I don't mind doing live streams like this. And I hope that this live stream gives you a lot to think about after it's all said and done. For those who are familiar with this particular live stream, this type of live stream, we're back again. We're back on another 007 mission. It started with my previous live stream titled True Love Never Dies, themed after the James Bond movie Tomorrow Never Dies. Because I believe that true love never dies and it never gives up on the other person. So for those on the replay, check out my previous live stream titled True Love Never Dies in the comment section. For some, it might be better for you to watch that one before you watch this one. There's a lot of grifter content that's out there these days, and there's a lot of content out there that's speaking out against and away from love. So basically, those who are just more, I won't say indifferent, but they're just more not a part of. And so there's a lot more content like this out there. It seems like no one's really talking about videos of those that are together. And if, let's say, there are videos out there like that of those together, it's more Matrix. So let's talk about some of these dates that took place on Valentine's Day, especially if some of y'all were booed up and ended up fogging out your car windows, like on one of those scenes that were on the Titanic movie. Now, I also saw a lot of what I call parking lot simping taking place on Valentine's Day. It was just a little different, especially in my area regarding Valentine's Day. To be honest, I did notice a lot more of a love atmosphere out there, but that's not to say it's true love. But I just noticed, like, I saw a lot more people together out there, like when I was just out and about during that time, this past Valentine's Day. But yeah, there's an actor, his name is Joshua Neal. He acted on Kiki Palmer's movie titled One of Them Days. And he recently said on his IG page that dating is bad, but dates aren't. And I get that to some extent. If you're like hanging out with somebody that's being mutual with you and you like them, but overall, you should want to go beyond dating in a date, which that's what courting is, because nothing like being so close, but still so far apart. That's what dates do to most people. It leaves you still wondering about things. Y'all went and hung out, but nothing really came of it. So you really want to be more or less hanging out with someone in something that's coming of it. That's actually the reason why y'all hang out. You want to be with someone you're courting. You're not wanting to be with someone you're just dating, especially on a day called Valentine's. And I want to get more into this aspect of why I titled this live stream Love Another Day before I go further in. So with those checking this out on the replay, especially, and for those tuning in now, you see like on the screen with the thumbnail, you see like the heart being blown upon the different plants growing at different phases, that really means a lot because it means a constant tending to. Now that depends on a lot of different variables about the environment as well as the care being taken upon the plants or taken to the plants per se, like uh taken for the plants. It requires all this in order for plants themselves to live another day. So it requires all these things from one and the other together to love another day. You got to look at what y'all got going on. It's like this garden, right? But unfortunately, a lot of things with love nowadays have become lust, and a lot of things that should be edible and credible for you in that garden are just forbidden fruits. And that's what a lot of what we see taking place every single day. So there's not a lot of love going on, love in another day. There's a lot of lust going on, lusting another day. And of course, yeah, there's a lot of hate going on, hate another day too. Doesn't take away from the love you should have had and that they should have had for you. So there's a lot I want to unpack with all that with this live stream. So as we continue on, I just expressed or just talked about Joshua Neal and his thoughts about things like dates and love per se, or just dates mostly, especially on Valentine's Day. Because most people, to be honest, they're not doing this out of love. They're doing this out of just trying to have a date. They're not really like trying to court with someone. And we see this. We see people just putting themselves out there on social media wanting to meet up with somebody. Because you got to remember, like for this particular year, 2026, Valentine's Day fell on a Saturday. So Saturday for most people across the country, Saturday is the day you go hang out. You go to the clubs, you're not working that day. So everybody's trying to do something that day. But be surprised a lot of people who couldn't do anything that day because some of these people never had love in them in the first place. But they try to use that day to try to see if they can get somebody to love them. You see what I'm saying? And you got people who try to do that on a regular basis too, but that's another story, right? But yeah, moving forward from what I spoke about with Joshua Neal, Ella May, and I had to make sure I said her name right. and hopefully I still said her name right. Ella May, she's an R&B singer from London. She said the best aspect to get out of a date is the thought that was put together for it or put into it. Now, that actually does resonate more with what courting should be, even though she still probably is talking from the standpoint of a date. But I think she was trying to also express even more of what a date should be like. But it's like, okay, let's just get right to the point, as I just said a few minutes ago. Like, it should be about courting, because from the standpoint of courting, like you are looking at what a person has put their thought into as far as y'all meet up, them getting dressed, them looking a certain way, them being a certain way with you, treating you a certain way, treating you out a certain way. But most people are tricking people a certain way. And yeah, they're still treating people a certain way too, but on a negative front, right? And you don't see that until either that date or after that date. You kind of start to put two and two things together, unfortunately. But these are things that if you're courting instead of just trying to have a date, you do think about things that are put together. As the old statement goes, it's the thought that counts, right? So really be with someone who's thoughtful of you. Go out with someone who's thoughtful of you. Love another day with someone who's thoughtful of you. And you'll know that as the days go by, if they're really thinking of you. No matter how they try to spin it, say it, explain it, there's no excuse if every day goes by and they don't have you in mind and they don't show you that, especially if you don't hear from them every day. Now, continuing on with that I just said, think about love, war, PTSD. A lot of PTSD for most people, especially for a lot of men. This is definitely for a lot of men. Um, of course, yes, some real women go through this too, unlike the typical females who they don't really go through it until at the end when they think about what they've put others through, you see? And some males that aren't real men come to that realization too in a lot of their latter days, especially when they can't find the one that wants to really love them anymore. But this idea of the PTSD that comes from all the wars of one trying to get people to love them, when love should not be a war. And I get one time that Keanu Reeves said that you should fight for someone you love. It shouldn't have to be a fight amongst each other. It should be that y'all in this world, it is y'all against the world in that sense. Y'all are by each other's side, especially for a man who has to deal with all these wars outside the home, outside of what he has going on with some lady that he loves. And then he has to deal with her because she's not really loving him either. So he has to war with her too. So this PTSD gets real for a man, especially him wanting to meet somebody new. And I really don't like it that some people try to exploit that, like some gals in a sense of where you think that he's thinking too much about his ex and stuff like that. Look, here's the thing. This man is still trying to love. And if you're trying to love him, you'll help him just get to that point of loving you. Because to be honest, they say things like a gal that don't speak good about her exes is a red flag. Well, I say this. It could be a red flag that a man still doesn't love his ex. Because here's the thing, ladies, if he doesn't mourn for a gal that he used to be around, he ain't gonna mourn for you either. And so for a gal that meets a man that obviously has a backstory and he's trying to do better, he's trying his best to still love, you'll take it upon yourself and say, hey, at least he's still trying to love. He's not trying to be a bitter man. He's not trying to take his pain and hurt out on the next woman. So for you to think he's dwelling on the past woman, that's not necessarily true. He's just trying to get through it, you know. But like I said, it could be a red flag, sweetheart, if he doesn't have a sense of mourning the gal that he was with. He is not going to mourn for you either. But of course, you never want him to get to the point of mourning. I guess that's the point, right? You become so much a part of his life that he doesn't have a reason to mourn, at least not in a bad way, because you decided you wanted to leave. Now, if you happen to part this life, if you will, that's different. But it's not based on you leaving. That's why, like, I really, in some sense, I don't have a lot of sympathy for those who just want to up and leave a relationship because that's actually a second form of death. You're just still living. That's the only difference. So this PTSD can run to people real deep, but yet, you know, people are taught to still move forward because it is healthy for you to move forward. Like a lot of the healing will come with you moving forward and finding someone that will help you in that healing process. You're not going to get all this healing just being by yourself. Now, when you first get injured, hurt, things like that, out of just like in war, you might be a little shield off because of just the sudden impact that took place. But you might have to call Mayday because you're like, yeah, I can't cope with this on my own. I need a little backup here. And that's when the right people in your life will step in and look out for you, help you get through it all. But we live in a society where, you know, people want to do them and be by themselves. And, you know, just to be honest, they're not really loving another day. So it's like really part of that mission has not been accomplished for a lot of people. And yes, you need to find something to love every day. Even if it's not someone to love every day, you still find something to love every day. And it ultimately leads back to someone you'll end up loving every day, loving another day, because they'll see that love you put out there is the type of love they want to reciprocate. So yes, for a lot of guys, the love you put out there in certain ways, it'll inspire the right woman to reciprocate that to you. And for a lot of gals out there, the type of love you put out there during this time of you healing, if you will, that'll inspire a man to want to initiate a certain type of love for you. Because, yeah, you talk a lot about how you've always had to please men, but no man has ever really pleased you, have they? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, with all that said, there really isn't struggle love. People talk about that and it just really bothers me. Like, look, there isn't struggle love. However, true love is a struggle because in order to succeed, you got to go through struggles. If love was easy, everybody would be doing it. Everybody would have somebody to love. And oftentimes, contrary to popular belief, there are a lot more people that are single because they haven't had no one to go through these struggles with them versus those who struggle at loving, if you will. You know, I believe a lot more of the, I guess, low vibrational people are actually booed up. I believe that. There's a lot more low vibrational people booed up than you expect because you got to think they're leeches, they're parasites. They'll find a way to easily leech on to somebody. Whether a girl finds a simp to believe her sad story, or you got a guy out there, he's a good manipulator. She'll buy his dream that he's selling. So there's a lot more people booed up than we expect. So when I say booed up, I sort of say that sarcastically. Most of the people I heard who are booed up are really screwed up, if you ask me. And yeah, that's a bar. Most people that are booed up are screwed up. I said it. And most of the people who got nobody by their side just haven't found their tribe. I said that too. So I'm going to say that one more time. Most people who are booed up are screwed up. And most people who don't have somebody right now by their side, they just haven't found their tribe. Not yet, right? But there's a lot more people that are booed up, in my opinion, than the people who don't have anybody by their side. Like people that just come out of nowhere and be like, oh, I'm single. Most people got side pieces. Yeah. But the people who are truly like single, if you will, they don't announce that. They don't really talk about it. And they definitely ain't got nobody around like you think they do. You think they out here doing them. They always got somebody on speed dial. No, they bed just as cold as the cold weather in February, early February. Okay. And they probably dealing with some PTSD from last August, last June. Still healing through that. Still haven't found no one that will help them through the healing. As we, you know, like I said, it should be a thing where we are there for each other. There is one clip I want to share with y'all as far as this idea of the struggle aspect of love. So I'm going to get to that real quick for y'all.
Tree grows in two directions at the same time. It grows down, that's the root system. It grows up, that's the fruit system.
Okay, I never heard that.
So the part of the tree, the nature of the tree that grows down is the gravitropic nature of the fruit. Gravitropic means it grows towards gravity and away from light.
Got it.
The part of the tree that grows up and produces fruit is the phototropic nature of the tree. It grows away from gravity and towards light. The problem most people have is they love the gravitropic nature of, the phototropic nature of success and having a fruit system that everybody can see.
Yeah.
They don't love the gravitropic nature of preparation and having a root system that no one can see. It's the stuff that you do when nobody can see you that makes you worth looking at when somebody can see you.
I wanted to explain more about that particular aspect because my thing is that's part of the struggle as far as like there's growth, there's the root part and there's the fruit part. But most people, when it comes to this idea of love another day are based on the thumbnail of that process of growth. A lot of people want to see the fruit. They don't want to deal with the root. The root is what makes the fruit. Most people, when it comes to this idea of love, if you will, they don't even want to deal with the roots. They don't want to get to the bottom of it, if you will. In order to only go up from here, as they say, it only goes up from here, it's only up from here. Well, we had to get to the bottom of it first. And y'all do that together. It makes for a stronger connection, for a stronger footing, stronger grounding. When y'all two are truly grounded together, not grounded like you did something wrong and the parents are grounding you, not like that, but when y'all truly are connected like that, and y'all work on this root system together, then y'all can develop the fruit system together. So that idea of what I just mentioned about there isn't struggle love, true love is a struggle. Well, that's because y'all making sure y'all planted right together, if y'all will. Y'all working on this cultivation aspect together so y'all can love another day, live another day, make sure everything is growing together with you both another day. Because y'all making sure everything is good from the bottom in order to get to the top. And really, to be honest, if you got someone in your life that isn't trying to be that way with you, they weren't trying to grow with you in the first place. Maybe they like this idea, this romanticism, but not the reality of it. Grow to know is part of this aspect of what cultivation, which is a representation of husbandry. So ladies want a man, a real man and all that. Well, you have to be willing to grow with him. You have to be willing to love another day with him, as this live stream talks about. You love another day with him by living or seeing how plants live another day. And that's how you two grow together. It's really that simple. It's not that difficult. If you want to grow more, you got to deal with the bottom of it. If you want to grow more, you got to get to the bottom of it. If you want to grow more, you got to get to the bottom of it. That's how you continue to love another day. Okay. So this video that I did previously talking about that, this idea of grow to know, that will also be in the comment section for those checking this out on the replay. Just as my previous live stream of True Love Never Dies is also in the comment section for those checking this out on the replay. But overall, I go back to the topic of PTSD. Some people aren't broken at all, right? Because we do talk about people that are broken. We say this a lot. Sometimes we say they're not hurt, they're just broken. Okay, we get that. But take it much further. Some people aren't broken at all. Maybe better or worse than that, depending on your perspective. Maybe, and just maybe, they never had a chance to be assembled, which is different than being put together, if you will. Like people say put together like as if something was broken. So that's why I say assembled, because it's never actually been put together for the first time. So you have basically a lot of people out here with untapped potential regarding love. They never had a chance to love, just like a young individual or someone that got their life cut short before they ever had a chance to see their sweet 16. They ever had a chance to graduate high school, college. They never had a chance to even walk. Yes, so like a toddler. So some people are like that with love. They never really had a chance to truly love. And I think that's a lot of people out here today. So love another day never happened with some people. If you think about it, some people have never had a chance to love another day. Some people did not have another day to love or to even love. Like they didn't even love that next day. So this goes into the grieving in the morning that I spoke of earlier. They grieving and mourning in the morning on top of that. So when this other day comes around, they're still looking at yesterday. This is supposed to be their present day, but they're still looking at yesterday, unfortunately. So a lot of growth stops for a lot of people for some 10 years ago, depending on how long they've been grieving and mourning when they felt like growth was no longer taking place, when the roots got contaminated, because that's how it starts. It doesn't start when you chop the top of the plant off, because the plant can still grow even when you chop its top off. It'll just take time for it to regrow, but that's not to say it can't regrow. When the roots get attacked, that's when things stop growing. So that's when, regarding love, y'all two stop growing is when the roots, your grounding with each other, has been compromised in some ways, whether it's you or her or him, however way, or you let them affect y'all roots, you see? But this idea of grieving and mourning, like when you are literally fighting for change, especially with love, you'll develop memoirs for it. And maybe that's part of what I do at this channel, because I am fighting for change, especially with love, especially when there's so much content out here speaking out against it or not speaking entirely for it. Everything is becoming so transactional now, and I get it. I get there are reasons why. That's not to say I agree, but I get why they are speaking in ways of why one can't get married, why one can't cohabitate, why one can't have children, things like that. I get that. But I'm fighting for those who still believe in that. And I'm fighting for those who still want to find someone to still trust amongst all of that. So you see why a channel like mine is not that popular. You get why, because I'm one of the few channels out here still fighting for change, especially with love. And I got quite a few memoirs for it if you've been checking out my content lately. And I want y'all to think about this too. We've been hurt over artificial circumstances. Yes, we've been hurt over artificial circumstances over and over again. So avoid artificial people. They are the source of your hurt, part of it, right? Part of the source. But meaning that you wanted to grow with somebody, but you've seen how artificial they were. Ladies, you've seen how this man wasn't trying to cultivate you. You need to avoid a man that's manipulating you. There's a lot of content out here talking about all this game, and you got to get her with manipulation. So, ladies, avoid an artificial guy like that. Guys, avoid a gal that's not trying to grow with you organically. You don't see her growing with you. She tried to put on a good front, maybe a few love bombs, only for it to turn around and be hate bombs. Okay. But yeah, avoid artificial people. They are the source of your hurt. Most of us aren't necessarily triggered. We've been damaged. And a lot of times people try to reenact those damages. So you get targeted. And I'm going to talk about this later. You get targeted. You might be vulnerable at a certain state in your life. And people will reenact those damages that you brought up, those previous damages. They want to see you hurt like that again for some reason. Thus, some of us will never be the same again. We try to find out how to live differently. We are determined to have our new chapter in life going forward to be better than the previous one. But it's easier said than done. And this is where we really start to talk more about the topic of this live stream, based on the previous James Bond movie titled Live Another Day. But in this case, Love Another Day. It's definitely bittersweet. It's bittersweet because you're going to get around a lot of people who don't care about how you end up in life, let alone how far you've come along. Your story doesn't mean anything to them because it's been all about their story. And they'll let you know that too. As far as they're concerned, it's all about them, not you. They're getting mad because of your lack of concern for them, huh? Really? When in reality, it's more of their lack of concerned for you. And it's hard for you to be concerned for them when they're being one-sided. That's what's going on most of the time, because it should be more of this connection of each other, this cohesion and not friction, if I'm not mistaken, right? This thing of y'all coming together to make some type of fusion and fission, if you will, not division. Just be part of the vision. What y'all building is the vision, not the relationship. The relationship is reflective of the vision. Okay. I've been saying that. Love should be symphonic, if you will, and harmonic as such. But with that said, if AI took over symphonies, it wouldn't sound the same. It wouldn't be the same. People overall love human harmony because it's imperfect, authentic, and organic. Oh, hey, what's good, Brown Dude Life? Good to see you back, family. Good to see you once again. Hope all has been well with you. But yeah, that's why for most people, human harmony still works instead of all this AI stuff going on. Like you see videos now, AI, voice, AI, characters in the videos, AI, sounds, music, AI. People like, where's the humanity in what we see and what we hear, even in what we feel? Where has that gone? Where is it going? Even in what we taste. Oh, we're not going to get started there with all these what artificial flavors. But now there's this idea of artificial love that we're seeing online. They'll tell you, well, that's because love's artificial. No, it's a lot of content out here trying to depict love that way. A lot of artificial content out here trying to depict love that way. Okay. When really we just have to continue to fight for this. Those that truly believe. You still speak on things. As it says for those who read the good old book, call those things that be not as though they were. Of course, to those that really know, you know that it's always been, even though to the masses, it's just hard for them to see this idea of love in this time that we live in, right? Forget perfection, though. An AI concert might sound better, but it just sounds too perfect. No soul there. Love must not become AI. There's a lot of things, whether they're made, whether they're played, if you will. Yeah, even if someone getting played, you could tell there was a lot of artificial aspects about it. A plant, no different, right? Going back to the theme of this live stream, artificial plants, it just ain't the same as the real one. But regarding love, the same way, love must not become AI. Keep all this in mind regarding love pertaining to this live stream topic. Oh, and also keep this in mind. Every musician in the band is important. Yes, every musician in a band is important, no matter what their instrument is. Because we're not even talking about the conductor. We're talking about everybody in the band that plays the clarinet, the trombone, the saxophone, yeah, I just said trombone. But yeah, the clarinet, trombone, saxophone, violin, bass, guitar, you name it. Everybody is important. And so you think there's a soul there. And to think that a lot of this that we're doing online affecting offline experiences, how people can be just replaced, how you can edit out people, write a new song, like a lot of rappers, producers, they talk now that there's apps, you don't need a feature. You can get an AI feature. So think about someone that says, I don't need a man, I can get an AI. We're not talking about Allen Iverson, but some guys think the same way. I don't need her, I can find someone else in a different way, in a more artificial way. And yes, I'm gonna say it. One of those artificial ways is getting a passport. And I'm not trying to go against the passport bros, but that's what it's come down to now. You gotta literally go thousands of miles. For some guys, you have to go thousands of miles just to try to find this thing called love, this authenticity. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but it's just like, wow, you got to go that far. When I believe in these times, a man just has to be so authentic where he's at that he doesn't have to travel that far. It's just that every girl that interacts with him has to be authentic with him as well. But if that means he will do without most of the time, that's fine. But yeah, traveling that far, going to many miles, that's a lot of time you got to invest in hopes that you find someone authentic from the other side of the world. I just scratch my head at that. I've just never wrapped my head around such things. I say this: you don't travel for love, you find love in your travels. That's what I say. Okay. I want to bring up sort of a side note to what I'm talking about, but it still applies. But there was a certain Mustang called the S650 Mustang. Months before Ford, or I forgot who like made this Mustang. I don't know if it was Roush, Saleen Mustang, Saleen. They were like a tuning company of Ford, and they used to tune Ford Mustangs. I forget, but nevertheless, months before the S650 Mustang was revealed, Ford warned tuning houses that the new model would be harder to tune because it is built with an encrypted electronic architecture, which will simply keep tuners locked out. But it looks like more tuners have found the key. And what I got out of that was a lot of these tuners are getting past the manipulations, or these tuners have found a way to manipulate regarding the feminine. Who knows? Maybe some guys can find a way to get past a lot of the manipulations that modern femininity tends to exhibit. Those like yours truly, Reality XM. But you might find others who feel that, as it stands in most situations, most guys will find a way to be manipulative towards her like he knows she is with him. He'll peep game and play a similar game. And that's just kind of what it is. It's like this cat and mouse. He thinks that he's playing chess and she's playing checkers, but they'll say the other way around. No, dog, you the one playing checkers and she's playing chess, dog. That's the game. And you got to do with all that. I'm like, man, I ain't got to deal with all that. I ain't a part of that. I get past that manipulation. And, that's the way she is. I just don't be a part of it. But at least I know what I know. Like what DMX said before. He said, you'll know them when you see them. You ain't gotta like you want them to be themselves because you want to be able to see them well. That's exactly what DMX said. And I believe in that regarding what he said. Because this is how you will continue to love another day. When you can be yourself, that's because you got to the root of things. When she can be herself, fellas, she's getting to the root of things with you. You're being yourself around her because you've gotten to the root of things. Y'all doing things together in order for y'all to continue to grow upward together. I think just this idea of authenticity is what it takes for each other to be together. And I think that's what's lacking today. It's a lack of authenticity. As much as we could talk about different topics and different issues and different problems, different scenarios, different things that have come up recently with these relationships. Example, Cardi B. Example, Stephon Diggs. Example, Portia Williams. I believe that's her name. Yeah. Things like that, right? Yeah, you got Summer Walker, a few of these people, you name it, right? You got a lot of that going on. And I'm just dropping names like that because you look up in the headlines, you can just Google search what was the latest and the greatest with these people, right? But that's them. They're celebrities. What about you? But people live vicariously through people, and that's another problem. There's not enough authenticity from that, and it becomes part of what has affected one's growth. And that eventually poisons things. That poison gets to the bottom of the root long before y'all get to the bottom of things amongst each other. And I find that unfortunate. With that said, though, hopefully this live stream makes sense to some. Maybe this live stream did not make sense to others. But to the others that this live stream makes sense to, make sure y'all hit that like button, especially for those checking this out on the replay. If you like this type of content, definitely more in store. I've been out the picture for a little bit, but I'm slowly but surely getting back into it. I'm kind of like a comment that stops by. But I also like to comment, so you catch that? So you talk to me, I talk back, if you will, in the comment section. I got an email if you want to reach me, as long as you're being respectful. But nevertheless, you like my type of content, definitely more in store. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other content if you go into my archives. And actually, if you want to get even more to the core of this channel, check out my previous content. And I say that because people be like, oh, that's your old stuff. Actually, that's my cold stuff. Yeah, what I mean is my content is ahead of its time. So if you want to know what I was speaking on many years ago, it's pertaining to now. And what I'm speaking on now is pertaining to those many years from now. So I'm actually speaking more futuristic at this point. So a lot of my content is bound to go viral. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But yeah, a lot of the content I've brought up before is speaking on a lot of things that are going on right now as we speak. But just know one thing for sure. No matter what it looks like out there with all the grifting content taking place, this polarity regarding love, where you got on one side the red pill and the black pill, and on the other side you got the blue pill and the purple pill, and everybody's divisive in their thoughts of love and having their ways of manipulation and doubt of love, and this whole crazy dystopia regarding love. No matter what it looks like out there, it's only going to get better from here, because outside of all that noise, especially online, come to channels like mine, where we see further out yonder into the future. And even for those living in that future right now, you ain't gonna want nothing less from the individual that you run into. You just want to be around something new, something fresh, something refreshing. And I hope this content is like that for some. Blasting off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.